hey there.
Oh, hey there.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Bradley.
We are the History Buffoons.
Hello.
How was your day?
It was good. I worked.
You worked?
Yeah. Got up early to go to work. I had a new account that I got today, which was fine. I've actually been there 7 months ago, but it was all right. And then I got to come up here to do podcasting. How was your day?
It was uneventful.
Sometimes those are the best days.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Right.
Got Nathan a cheeseburger to go.
Yeah.
With nothing on it.
And they messed it up?
They put everything on it.
Oh, dear.
And I had onion smell trying to take off all the onions to give to Nathan.
That's the worst. Like, I can handle almost anything else that they would accidentally put on, even when you order it with nothing.
I hate onion.
I cannot stand the smell, the texture, everything about them.
Yeah.
Is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I get you get some flavor from it. That's why they make onion powder. Fucking ugh.
Yeah, I've never really understood the concept of like French onion soup.
Yeah, it sounds just like a bowl of barf. I mean, seriously.
I thought you were gonna say broth.
Nope. I went the barf route. My dad loved onions, and it's funny because my mom hates onions. So like when they would make stuff, she would have to like, he would just want raw onions on his burger or whatever it might have been. And it's like, that's fucking gross. And then they make your breath smell for like days afterwards, no matter how much you brush your teeth. I think onions should be banned from the world.
I don't mind red onion every once in a very blue moon. Like it has to be a part of something, like a salad or...
I feel like that's too soon. You should space that out further than a blue moon. Maybe once a decade.
Once a decade.
Because I get that. I know they're obviously a lot different than
a yellow or a white onion.
Yeah. But just thinking about it makes me want to make some French onion soup. Well,
thankfully, he didn't mind the slight hint of onion on it. He said it was a good burger, so...
That's good, but they epically fucked up, apparently.
They did. That's all right. We'll go back because we like it. So we chose the same beer this time.
Yeah, we're going to both have the same beer instead of switching it up on both.
So it's called Pseudo.
Yes.
And I just put it together that it's probably named after the T-Rex Sue, because there's literally a T-Rex on the can.
The fact that there's a logo for the Field Museum didn't give it away?
I didn't even see it. Hey, look, the Field Museum is on here. That's in Chicago, folks.
Yeah.
And totally worth the trip if you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brewing up history with the Field Museum. That's awesome. I did not see that. It is from Toppling Goliath Brewing Company.
From Decorah, Iowa.
That's right.
I know. I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah.
How was it?
I think I'm going to not tell my story about Toppling Goliath from that trip.
Oh?
They irritated me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So this beer says it's a single hop pale ale.
Yep.
With a well-balanced beer that is delicate in body with a mild bitterness in the finish. With citrus and mango. Nice.
Nice.
I'm going to open it now.
Yeah.
I am thirsty. I've had a couple of beers already.
Yep.
And I'm not upset about that.
Cheers.
Pseudo. Oh, and there's a King Sue, right?
Yeah, which is even better. It's it's a hazy IPA. It's really good. Higher ABV. But I like that one, but it's not cheap.
Oh, really?
Typically around here, I think very roughly, depending on where you go, a 4-pack of 16-ounce cans is going to be like $18.
Whoa!
Yeah, so it's not a cheap beer. Obviously, cheaper than going to a bar to have it, but it's really good. I like King Sue better than Pseudo Sue, but I really like Pseudo Sue.
Yeah.
So Kate and I, when we podcast up at her place, sometimes go to our favorite Elkhart Lake bar, and they have this on tap.
Yes.
So we like to partake in a few. They used to have Kingsu, which is what I would get, and you would get this.
Yeah, the pseudo.
But they have since obviously taken that off tap, which happens from time to time. So
Yeah.
that's all right.
Switch some things around.
Yep.
Oh, man, I missed that bar.
I know. We got to get there again one of these days. It's been a minute.
Okay, so I actually don't have a question for you today on purpose.
Oh, why is it on purpose?
Because I think you're going to participate a lot in this topic.
Okay.
So, first of all, I'm going to see if you know who this person is, because we're going to talk about a person.
Well, I hope I can interact
with no context.
All right.
Jim Rice.
Jim Rice. Not sure.
Okay. Well, he was born James Edward Rice.
James Edward Rice.
March 8th, 1953.
Okay.
Okay. He was born in Anderson, South Carolina.
Okay.
And he was known as Ed.
Ed?
Yeah.
What? Why was he known as Ed?
People sometimes go by their middle name.
Oh, okay.
And I know, I literally called him Jim Rice, and he goes by Ed.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, okay.
So he was a lanky, tall teenager, but he had a lot of athletic talent.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the era that he was in, middle school, high school, there was still a lot of segregation in the South.
Sure.
So, despite his promise and the athletic abilities, he was assigned to Westside High School, which is an all-black school. Okay. So, that high school opened up in 1951 in Anderson, South Carolina. And then in 1954, the Supreme Court ruled in Brown versus Board of Education that separating children in public schools on the basis of race was unconstitutional.
Well, it is a dumb idea, so...
And so that signaled the end of legalized racial segregation in the schools, and it overruled the separate but equal principle set forth by the 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson case.
Oh, that's a classic case.
So
I have no idea what that is.
The Plessy versus Ferguson was the court ruled that states could enforce racial segregation laws as long as the facilities provided for African Americans in an equal manner against the whites. Not against the whites, but it's the same as the whites. They have to have separate but equal. That's what their whole premise is.
It has to be the same, but they have to be in different buildings, basically, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, or they have to be at the back of the bus and the whites get to be at the front, but they have to have their own section, So arguments were to be heard during the next term to determine just how the ruling would be imposed.
Sure.
And just over 1 year later, on May 31st, 1955, the court unanimously decided what is now referred to as Brown 2, instructed the states to begin desegregation plans with, quote, with all deliberate speed.
So get on that shit.
Hurry up.
Yeah, get this done yesterday.
Yeah, so that was in the 50s, right?
Right.
So despite the speed that the government wanted to desegregate, it was a very slow process.
Okay.
Southern states resisted by closing schools enacting laws and even gerrymandering the district to maintain segregation.
Go South.
It wasn't until 1970
Good Lord.
that Westside High School was fully integrated.
Okay.
But because district lines were redrawn, Rice ended up in a completely different high school called T.L. Hanna, and that used to be an all-white school.
Of course.
Since 1878.
Oh.
Long time.
Yeah.
But he was engaging and he was charming and he won over his peers.
Well, that's good.
He was actually elected co-class president, and he played a significant role in easing racial tensions because he was,
a good
dude.
Guy.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
Yeah.
So in 1970, it was his senior year, and Rice played football, basketball, and baseball.
Sure.
And in football, he was an all-state kick returner
Oh.
a defensive back,
Wow.
and a wide receiver.
So
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Especially in like high school. Even in some, like even today, there's some college people that play offense and defense. You don't see it as much as you used to.
Okay.
But especially back then, especially in the high school age range,
Yeah.
you only have so many people.
Fair.
You only have so many good ones.
Fair.
So it's like, you're going to take up a roster spot, but we're going to put him in there.
Yeah.
Because he's good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, they played multiple positions.
Okay. So despite his football success, he was actually deciding between a scholarship from Clemson, North Carolina, and the University of Nebraska. But Rice chose a $45,000 offer from Mace Brown and Sam Mealy of the Red Sox.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
So Mace Brown was a scout and Sam Mealy was an instructor. So
Gotcha.
that's who those people are.
Okay.
So 1971, Rice played 60 games for Williamsport, Pennsylvania in the Class A New York Penn League at 18 years old.
Okay.
I had to fucking look up all that.
I'm not surprised.
It's considered a short season Class A.
Okay.
So they have a shorter season.
Yep.
And Class A is like bottom of the barrel, right?
Well, you got
pretty much.
Double A, Triple A,
Yeah.
and then major leagues. But yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
he was Class A. So he hit a 256 with 5 home runs. And for people who suck at numbers, like me, and I had to look this up, the 256 is the batting average.
Oh my God, yes.
See, I told you would know this. So you would divide the number of hits by the number of at-bats.
Oh, jeez. It's called fractions.
It's called I don't do math.
It's funny that I'm glad that you, I guess, stated what the 256 is.
Just in case people don't know. I know what a batting average is, but like I needed to put it into words, you know?
And you understand it's like 0.256, right?
Yes, it is 0.256, but nobody says point.
Nope.
Which is why I didn't.
I know. I get that.
I'm learning something.
I just think it's funny that you had to explain that, but I guess it makes sense.
I'm going to explain a couple things.
I can imagine.
Okay, so 250 is considered average and 300 is considered excellent.
Do you know what the Mendoza line is?
Yes, it's under 200.
Correct.
Because I read that.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know the funny thing about the Mendoza line in today's baseball?
What?
It's fucking irrelevant.
It's irrelevant?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that bat right around it. It was meant to be, you're pretty shitty if you're below the Mendoza line.
Yeah.
And now, like, I know because we're Brewers fans, there was a guy batting like 191. It's like, wow, that's... And I grew up watching baseball in the era of, holy shit, this dude's batting 375. 375 is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Batting average is, I don't want to say irrelevant in baseball these days, but it's not a major indicator of how the player is batting anymore, like it used to be.
What weighs more?
On base percentage.
What is that, RBI?
No, that's a run batted in.
Oh.
So,
Look at me go.
on base percentage, not RBI. Oh, okay. She's sticking her tongue out at me. So if you get a walk, you get on base. You're not getting a hit though, but you're still getting on base. So your percentage, obviously it takes your at bats and into account and so on and whatever. So as long as you can keep getting on base, even if your batting average is a 205,
Got it.
your on base percentage could be way better. Then they have, what's the newer one they use a lot now? It's
RBI?
no, that's still run batted in, but no, it's on base plus slugging. So it's
I talk about slugging.
okay. Let's get to it.
Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so Rice hated working at Williamsport. People called him Jim and not Ed, for one thing.
That's his fucking name, though. His name's James.
And
Don't call me by my name. Call me by my middle name.
He wasn't used to curveballs.
Well, who is?
And he was so far from home.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but I'm sorry. Curveballs are a part of baseball.
So in 1972, he was sent to Winter Haven in the Florida State League, where he continued to improve his skills.
Sure.
Fun fact, Winter Haven is where Nathan's grandparents would always winter.
Well, I mean, it is called Winter Haven.
But it's so run down there.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Where in Florida is that? Oh.
I think it's within 30 minutes to an hour of Orlando.
Sure. I like that answer.
I think it's East Central.
You can stop thinking about it.
Okay. I've only been there once.
That's fine.
Okay, so because I'm a new baseball fan and I don't know anything, I had to look up why the Red Sox have all these other teams I've never heard of.
Because they're minor league teams.
So I literally have in my notes, wait for Bradley to answer.
Well, because they're minor league teams.
But why do the Red Sox or any major league have all these little different offshoots?
Every major league team has minor league teams.
Yes, why?
Because that's how they develop their players and they send them through the ranks, basically.
Right.
So they basically... They draft a player either out of college or even high school for that matter. Some still decide to go to college to better their skills and whatnot. Some are so good they don't need to fucking do that. They get right out of high school, basically. Mm-hmm. There's people recruiting 16-year-olds for the major leagues, but that doesn't mean they're going to go play on the Brewers right away. I just use the Brewers because that's our home team. But they're going to go to single-A baseball, and then if they're really good...
Work their way up.
Sometimes they jump over to AAA. Sometimes they would go to AA, then AAA, then majors. Like we just signed before Jackson Churio even stepped onto the field for us. We signed him to I don't remember how many years, 8 or 10 year deal, and he didn't even play one game in the majors yet. We signed him to a huge fucking deal. But he's fucking awesome.
He's good. I like him.
He's going to be, I think, really good in the coming years, barring any major mishaps or whatever. But you basically work your way up through the ranks. There's some people who are perennial they're always in the minors. They're never going to make it to the majors. They're good, but they're not good enough. Whereas there's some, like Jackson Churio, is like, that kid is fucking... We won the...
What was he, 22?
He was 20.
20,
Because
jeez.
I was going to say, we won our division because the Cubs suck. And, well, I'm not wrong. But they brought in a wheelbarrow or something of NA beer for him.
My gosh.
For the celebration.
That's hilarious.
I'm sure he ended up having some real beers, but...
That's fantastic.
But yeah,
though.
it's pretty great. But so it's like, there's some guys who don't actually break out into the majors until they're late 20s, even early 30s sometimes, depending on the situation, because their skills aren't developed enough, whatever it might be, so on and so forth. They just didn't find the right team to be on either, because that helps. But
and if they're in the majors, they can still go back to a AAA, right?
Sometimes there's options to send them down. Sometimes, depending on the caliber of the player, they have it written where that can't happen.
Oh, okay.
But there are some where they have. I don't know all the terminology specifically, but they can get optioned down to AAA and so on, whatever it is. And sometimes some players, you can only do it 3 times within a season or whatever the contract
limitation
says. Yeah. But there's some you wouldn't send Christian Yelich to the minors. He's on the Brewers no matter what, and that's where he is because that's what his contract states and so on, and the caliber of player that he is. Whereas you get some young guy,
Weimer, what was his name?
Joey Weimer.
Yeah, from the Brewers.
Well, he went to the Cincinnati Reds. Oh, remember I told you we traded him?
No, I don't remember because he came up from AAA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's one thing, again, I keep referencing the Brewers because that's my team.
Yeah.
But Brewers have always been relatively good at developing their own players through the minor league system. And unlike the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees, even San Francisco Giants, all the Cubs, all those huge market teams, because in baseball there's no salary cap, so you can pay Shohei Ohtani I love Shohei Ohtani because he's a fucking amazing baseball player. He's probably the best baseball player alive right now. He makes... His contract was like $700 million or close to $1 billion, whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, it's literally insane. There's a guy for the Mets who just got signed the other day, Juan Soto, for 15 years. He's going to make, I think, $725 million or $750, something like that. I mean, that's just fucking insane. And that's why the Brewers have a hard time competing, because we can't afford that. And the funny thing is, I saw a meme the other day that after he got signed, the guy who runs the Mets right now used to be our not general manager. I'm drawing a blank on the position that he was. David Stearns, he used to run the Brewers, basically.
The owner?
No.
Oh.
I said he ran the Brewers. He didn't own the Brewers. That's Mark Antanasio. But anyways, he ran the Brewers. Fuck, I can't remember the goddamn position he has. Anyways, his whole time with the Brewers, all free agents and everything he signed totaled up to like $210 million. He just signed one guy for 700, like it's either 25, 50, 62. I don't remember the number, but it's over 700 some million.
Jeez.
It's crazy. That's what's wild about baseball. But like Shohei Ohtani makes a buttload of money, but he's fucking worth it because he's amazing. And he didn't even pitch last year.
So we're back in Winter Haven.
Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
That's okay. I knew you were going to have a lot to say, which I like. So back in Winter Haven, he hit 17 home runs in 130 games.
That's not bad for a starting out guy.
Yeah. In 1973, he was promoted to Bristol in the Double-A Eastern League with a batting average of 317.
That's pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah, you're almost at one every third at bat hit. So,
damn.
Are you saying that about that or
317? Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I did burp.
I know.
He hit 27 home runs.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah. So that same year, 73, he joined the Triple-A Pawtucket Red Sox.
Yep, I know them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're in the International League.
Yeah.
And they went to the playoffs that year.
Oh.
And in the 10 games, he hit a 378.
That's impressive.
With 4 home runs.
Okay.
I know what these numbers mean. That makes me happy because I'm not a numbers person.
No, you really aren't.
So the next year, 1974, Rice played with the Pawtucket Red Sox for pretty much the whole year.
Yeah.
And he won the International League's Triple Crown.
Okay.
Rookie of the Year, MVP, and the honor of the Sporting News Minor League Player of the Year.
Oh.
He had a 337 batting average, 25 home runs, and 93 RBIs.
Nice.
So tell me what an RBI is.
It's a run batted in. So let's say you and me were playing baseball. I went up and I hit a single, right? Mm-hmm. Well, let's say a double. Doesn't matter. I got on base. Mm-hmm. You come up to bat next, and you get a hit, whether it's a home run, a single, double, triple, whatever, and I cross home plate, you get an RBI.
Okay.
Because you got a run batted in.
I helped a runner get to base. Get to home base. Yeah.
Yes. So, RBI is, you okay there?
Burping.
Oh, dear.
It's the pseudo Sue.
I guess so.
It's not so pseudo. I'm definitely burping.
Yeah. Sue me. But yeah, our RBI is a very good indicator of how a player is doing, because usually if they're getting a lot of RBI, they're getting a lot of hits. Typically.
So even with the batters who will do like a sacrifice fly ball,
you get an RBI.
You would still get an RBI.
Correct. A sac fly and an RBI is what they say. So yes, you get an RBI for that. Correct.
Okay. So in late 1974, he finally got his major league debut
for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Did he park the cod Harvard Yard?
Probably. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So he had.
It's the second time I've said that on this podcast.
He had 20 full games with the Red Sox.
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah.
Not the Pawtucket, Boston.
It's Boston. So he hit the first home run on October 1st.
So we have a very good family friend who is from Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. But after college, they moved out to Boston, and that's where I believe that's where his kids were born. I'm almost 100% positive on that. But he is a huge Red Sox fan, and our buddy, who is married to his daughter, also is a Red Sox fan. Obviously, she's a Red Sox fan. So I have a weird love-hate thing for the Red Sox because I cheer for them because of them, but I don't cheer for them other than that kind of thing. So big market teams make me mad because our little tiny market can't compete.
Oh, okay.
So it sucks, but that's not my friend's fault. But but I will root for the Boston Red Sox for that family, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the Red Sox in 1974, he batted at .269.
It's pretty good.
In 67 at-bats.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. So Rice's integration into the 75 team was a pretty rocky start. There was another rookie, Fred Lynn, and he solidified his position as center fielder.
That name sounds familiar.
And then Tony Congigliero.
Yeah.
Congigliero.
Yeah.
He was the designated hitter.
Sure.
And Rice found himself on the sidelines.
Do you know? So it's different now, like today. Do you know what the designated hitter is between American League and National League? Like what the difference was?
No.
So I think I've tried to explain this to you once before. In the National League, up until the whole COVID thing happened, and then it's been designated hitter for both leagues now.
Oh, okay. So they're the same. They're the same rules now.
Correct.
Okay.
In both sides, but prior to that, the pitcher used to have to bat. Do you remember this conversation?
Yeah, you have told me that. Yeah.
So it's. I still don't know how I feel about it. I like that it's now the same, at least. But I like the kind of strategic things the manager had to do when the pitcher would come in to bat because. Am I going to replace him with a pinch hitter? Because then you have to change your pitcher as well. Some pitchers actually could hit. Like we used to have what was his name? Giovanni Gallardo was a pretty decent hitting pitcher. I mean, CC Sabathia, who was on our team and then went to the Yankees, he was pretty decent actually. But even, was it in 2018 when we were playing the Dodgers in the playoffs, we were like one game from the fucking World Series, and I was there. But I remember the game that Brandon Woodruff hit off of, what was his name? Clayton Kershaw, I believe. Their pitch, he was an awesome pitcher. I think that's who it was. Fucking just hit a home run off of him. It's like, pitchers don't do that shit. But it was fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
But now you don't get to see pitchers hitting anymore, so it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I kind of miss it, but I get it, so...
So beyond the logistical challenges of Rice like being on the team, he thinks that there was also a racial bias.
Well, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. And he actually didn't like speak about that until many years later.
Okay.
He just kind of kept that to himself.
Sure.
So in an interview he would eventually give to Sport Magazine in 1978, Rice, he said, quote, "Race has to be a factor. When Fred Lynn can hit a 240 in the minors and I can hit a 340 and he gets a starting job before I do." End quote.
Yeah, see, that's horseshit because when you're in a sport that is based off of fucking numbers, who has the best numbers is the person who should be out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what color you are, what nationality, race, anything. It doesn't matter, religion. The numbers speak for itself.
Right.
Fucking give the guy with the best numbers the job.
Right.
That's bullshit.
So, coincidentally, within a few weeks, Conigliaro, I've actually heard that name before.
As have I.
Yeah, Conigliaro. He was batting at best 200.
Oh, the Mendoza line.
Yeah. So he was actually pushed back to the Pawtucket Red Sox AAA.
Yep.
Enter Rice.
Ooh.
Boom, boom. So, by July, Rice has taken over the left field position, and he held it for the remainder of the season.
Okay.
So he finished the year with a .309 batting average, 22 home runs, and 102 RBIs.
That's not bad.
And he placed second to Lynn in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And Rice and Lynn were actually known as the Gold Dust Twins.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, me either. And I didn't look into it because I was like, nah, it's not relevant. meh. His first season came to an abrupt end.
Oh, dear.
When a wild pitch broke his left hand.
Ooh. Oh, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, and it forced him to watch the Red Sox lose a 7-game World Series to Cincinnati.
Yeah, they lost a lot of World Series for quite some time. It was the curse of the Bambino. So,
Babe Ruth?
Yep.
Look at me. I watched The Sandlot.
Oh, wow.
So once he recovered, his career did regress a bit. In 76, his hitting average was a .282 with 25 home runs.
That's still pretty solid.
I thought so too. Like 25 home runs is really good.
But again, and 282 is really pretty solid.
I think so.
Especially if you think about it today. But back then, again, it was looked at a little differently. So I get it for the time frame, but that's really not bad.
Yeah. So in 1977, he had 39 home runs.
Wow.
In 78, he was voted the MVP award, and he was leading the majors in slugging percentage of 600 games. And I had to look up slugging.
Yeah.
Obviously. Do you know what it is?
I always forget the exact definition, so just go ahead.
It's the total number of bases a player reaches per at-bat.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So that year, 78, he had the 600 percentage, 136 at-bats. Nope, just kidding. 136 games.
Yep.
677 at-bats. Mm-hmm. 213 hits.
Yep.
406 bases.
Yep.
15 triples.
Yep.
46 home runs.
Nice. 46, wow.
Mm-hmm. And 139 RBIs.
How many doubles did he have?
It does just say.
So it goes 0?
Maybe he had 0.
Do you know what hitting for the cycle means?
No.
I've also told you this too.
Go memory. Really working here.
It means within one game, a single game, you get a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. Okay. So that's hitting for the cycle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very hard thing to do because not only are you getting 4 hits within a game, you have to get up to 4 at-bats, obviously. Mm-hmm. Typically, that's usually the most people get. Obviously, you can get more, 5, 6, whatever. But it's really hard to do. And which one is the hardest one to get out of those hits?
Oh, I would naturally say guess? Home run.
Nope.
But because you asked the question, I would not say home run.
No. Triple.
I was going to say triple next.
Yeah. That's the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
So, because a home run, you can just hit it over the wall.
Right.
Triple is you're usually hitting it within the ballpark or the field
right.
of play, and you have to get to third base. That's usually the hardest one.
Right, so. And without somebody catching it first.
Well, yeah, because that would not be a hit.
Ideally. So in 1979, he, along with 2 other Red Sox players, started the All-Star game.
That's a good year.
Yeah. It is a good year. You were born. Look at me remembering shit.
Yeah, September 25th.
And Rice was actually recognized as the best hitter in that game.
In the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Nice.
Rice had another hand injury in 1980.
Same hand?
And I actually don't know. It didn't say.
Okay.
But he suffered subpar seasons in 81 and 82, partially as a result.
Sure. I mean, hand's a big fucking thing in baseball.
Yeah, so. A little bit. Yeah. So August 7th.
Ooh.
1982.
I remember that day well. I really don't. I wasn't even 3 yet.
It was at Fenway Park.
Oh.
And it was one for the history books.
Do you know?
And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Do you know what the 2 oldest baseball parks in the majors
I'm going to say Fenway Park.
Okay. What's the other one? I think it's actually even older than Fenway, I believe.
Is it the Yankee Stadium?
No. They just rebuilt that in the last, 10 years? I don't remember how long it's been now. But
is it Wrigley?
Yeah.
Really?
I think Wrigley is the oldest and then Fenway.
Wow.
I might be mixing those up, though.
We're going to pivot.
Pivot.
And we're going to go to Greenland, New Hampshire.
Oh, I've been there.
Have you?
No.
So Tom Keene and his 2 sons, Jonathan 4 and Matthew 2, went to their first Red Sox games.
So that's their age, not like, hey, Jonathan 4 Keene. I was confused.
What?
I thought that was like part of their name. I'm like, that's really weird.
Jonathan, who is 4,
There
and
it
Matthew, who is 2.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
The kids ended up going to their very first Fenway Red Sox game.
There it is.
So they were all seated along the first baseline in the field boxes. They were in the second row.
Sorry, my glasses are fucked up. It's hurting my ear. Sorry. In the first row.
Okay, so they were seated along the first baseline in the second row.
Okay.
And they were on like the home plate side of the Red Sox dugout.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tom Keene had gotten the tickets through a friend who knew the Red Sox executive vice president, Hayward Sullivan.
Okay.
Okay. So the Red Sox were playing the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And after several renovations of the stadium, that's the word.
There it is.
The seats are actually like much closer to the action than previous renovations. So the Red Sox were in second place in the American League East Division behind the Brewers.
Yeah, when we actually used to be in the American League.
Are we not anymore?
No. We haven't been since like the mid 90s.
What are we in now?
The National League, the only other league you can be in.
You say that as if I know.
Well,
the White Sox were in the third place of the American League West behind the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Okay. So the White Sox jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the first on just 4 hits. Mm-hmm. But the Red Sox tied the score in the bottom of the third inning on 2 doubles and a walk.
Ooh.
Yeah. After a 1-2-3 top of the fourth inning, which I had to look up, 1-2-3, a pitcher got 3 batters out in a row.
You didn't know
on
1-2-3?
No.
Okay.
So it's literally like a perfect inning for a pitcher, for those who don't know.
Do you know what a perfect game is then?
Complete strikeout of...
Doesn't have to be a strikeout.
So no one gets to base.
Correct. Yeah. So you literally have 27 at-bats, 27 outs.
Yes.
Correct.
So after a 1-2-3 top of the fourth inning, bottom of the fourth would be the first 2 Red Sox hitters singled. Mm-hmm. And then Dave Stapleton came up.
Who's Dave Stapleton?
To hit. Well, Dave Stapleton was a utility player.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I think he just kind of...
He plays all positions.
He fits in where they need him, basically.
Yes. Yeah. And in 1982, he was first baseman.
Okay.
So he was up to bat. And Dave Stapleton happens to be 4-year-old Jonathan's favorite player.
Well, shit.
Yeah. So Stapleton was a right-handed hitter, and he was up against a right-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
And his name was Richard Dotson.
Richard Dotson.
Mm-hmm. So Stapleton ended up swinging late at one of the pitches.
Yeah.
And sent the ball soaring into the stands near the dugout.
Oh, dear.
Mr. Tom Keene, the father, heard a loud crack, thinking the ball had hit the side of the dugout.
Did it hit his kid?
When he looked down at his son, Jonathan, the 4-year-old, he saw blood streaming from his head.
Oh, God.
The ball had hit him over his right eye, fracturing his skull.
Oh, yeah. No shit.
Does that now sound awful?
No, that sounds terrible.
So, hearing the reaction from the crowd, center fielder Rick Miller, who was waiting at the edge of the dugout for his turn at bat, jumped out of the dugout to see what was happening. When he saw the injured boy, he immediately called for the Red Sox trainer, Charlie Moss.
Okay.
Now, I looked up what a trainer does. So they're typically athletic trainers, and they do first aid and injury prevention and rehabilitation. So naturally, he's right there. So they would call him out first, right?
Of course, yeah.
So as the trainer started to head out of the dugout, Jim Rice raced past him, jumped into the stands, picked up the boy in his arms, and headed to the Red Sox dugout, the clubhouse.
Sure.
And that is where team physician Arthur Pappas had just arrived from his box seat. Like he knew he was needed. He raced from his box seat to the clubhouse and met Jim Rice in the clubhouse.
Sure.
So Pappas said that he had never seen so much blood at Fenway.
Oh, God. He
quickly evaluated the child's injuries and placed him into the ambulance that was on standby.
Sure.
And there's an ambulance pretty much at every game, I think.
No, there is.
Yeah. So in a 1997 article describing the incident, Pappas was quoted as saying, quote, "This is very much a factor once you have that kind of head injury and the subsequent swelling of the brain. That's why it's so important to get him to care so it can be dealt with. Rice certainly helped him very considerably."
Oh,
end quote.
yeah. For him to jump up and do that is amazing.
So within a few minutes, Jonathan was on the operating table at Children's Hospital of Boston.
Okay.
So regular vehicle, regular traffic in 2024 was about an 8-minute drive. So maybe half that for an ambulance. I don't know.
Maybe you'd hope.
Yeah. Jonathan had surgery to relieve pressure on his brain.
Yeah.
After less than a week, he was released from the hospital.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. So the next day, Dave Stapleton, the foul ball hitter, stopped by the hospitals to see Jonathan. And right after him, Tony La Russa, the White Sox manager at the time, came to visit.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah. And since the game was on NBC's Game of the Week, people across the country saw Jonathan hurt and Rice's reaction.
Yeah.
And even Hank Aaron, who had just been inducted into the Hall of Fame only 6 days earlier, called to see how Jonathan was doing.
What was his name?
Hank Aaron?
Oh, Hank. I'm sorry. I did not hear that. But yeah, do you know who he played for?
The Yankees?
No.
The Red Sox?
No.
The White Sox?
He played for the Milwaukee Braves.
Hmm.
And then also the Atlanta Braves. And then the Milwaukee Brewers.
Did he really?
Yes.
Cool. So Jonathan recovered with the help of his mother, Carol Johnson Haywood. She was actually a special education teacher in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So it did take him a while to recover, but mom was always there making sure he was healing.
Sure.
And 2 years later, during follow-up tests, everything was normal.
Okay.
So in 1983, the next year,
Yep.
Jonathan was at the ballpark on opening day.
Did he have a shield around him? God damn, that'd be nerve-wracking because he would have been 5 then, right?
Yeah. The Red Sox executive vice president Hayward Sullivan, who gave the family the tickets, called them up and asked Jonathan to throw the first pitch, the ceremonial first pitch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he did do that.
Okay.
So Rice bounced back in 1983, leading the league in RBIs and homers. And despite his strong season, some questioned his Hall of Fame chances due to a perceived lack of defensibility.
Okay.
Rice continued performing well in the following years, earning All-Star honors and powering the Red Sox to their first postseason appearance in over a decade.
Oh.
And while his 1986 postseason wasn't a standout, he did deliver some key home runs in the League Championship Series.
Okay.
And he batted well in the World Series.
Nice.
So Rice's career took a downturn in 1987 due to elbow and knee injuries.
Okay.
And these issues, along with deteriorating eyesight, continued to hinder his performance over the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
So his career ended in 1989.
Oh.
And his batting average dropped below 300.
Which, still, I mean, if it's not that far below, that's pretty fucking good.
But he was still facing criticism regarding his Hall of Fame candidacy.
Why? I mean, he had solid numbers his whole fucking life.
His whole career.
Yeah.
He played 16 years with the Red Sox.
That's impressive.
Yeah. He later served as the team's hitting coach, mentoring young stars like Nomar Garciaparra.
Can you try that again?
Nope. And Mo Vaughn.
Nomar Garciaparra?
Nomar Garciaparra and Mo Vaughn.
Garciaparra.
Like move on, but Mo Vaughn.
No, his name's Mo Vaughn.
That's what I said. Mo Vaughn.
Not move on.
I know.
How about we move on from this?
Let's move on.
Yes, let's move on.
So after his coaching career, Rice settled in Massachusetts with his family, and he eventually joined the NESN, the New England Sports Network, as a baseball analyst.
Okay.
So Rice continued to receive honors for his after his playing career. He was inducted into the Red Sox Hall of Fame.
It makes sense.
In 1995.
Sure.
And the Ted Williams Hitters Hall of Fame in 2001.
Okay.
And despite initial doubts, Rice was eventually elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2009, thanks in part to the advocacy of Red Sox historian Dick Bresciani.
Okay. I like your confidence in that last name.
Bresciani.
Yeah.
So he was a fierce advocate of Rice.
Sure.
He kept Rice's statistics available, and he basically kept that in the public eye.
That's nice, yeah.
So during his Hall of Fame speech in July, Rice reflected on his career. He thanked Dick Bresciani, and he also thanked his mentors, like his scouts and his instructors and stuff.
Sure.
And he says, quote, "I am a husband called Rice. I am a father called Dad. I am a brother called Ed. I am an uncle called Uncle Ed. I am a grandfather called Papa. I am a friend that doesn't call. Some of my friends know that, and sometimes best not call at all. Finally, and I do mean finally, I am Jim Rice, called a baseball Hall of Famer." End quote.
That's awesome.
Jonathan Keene, the 4-year-old, has no memory of the family trip to Fenway Park.
Why would he? He got hit with a baseball. Jesus.
He doesn't remember the 5 days he spent in the children's hospital.
Right.
But he does remember throwing the ceremonial first pitch the year after.
Well, that's good at least.
The only reminder he has of that day is a very small scar above his left eye.
Okay, sure.
Jonathan went on to attend the North Carolina State, graduating with a degree in business, marketing, and finance.
Oh, wow.
And in 2017, Keene, alongside a friend and entrepreneur, Joe Schmidt, co-founded Customer HD, which is an outsourced customer staffing agency.
Okay.
And as CEO, he oversees call centers in Raleigh and Belize City, Belize, delivering exceptional customer service to over 20 international clients.
Wow.
Drawing on his experiences, Keene and Customer HD are dedicated to empowering individuals, especially those with disabilities, through meaningful employment opportunities.
Well, that's nice.
Most recently, the company has partnered with 321 Coffee for its local employees and done service projects with Habitat for Humanity, local food banks, and local women's shelters to instill that helping spirit into its workforce. In Belize, Customer HD has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Belizean Ministry of Human Development to improve the lives and employment opportunity for people with disabilities.
Okay.
Earlier this year, the company gave a city bus to Belize City. Belize City for local citizens with disabilities to use on an everyday basis and during the time of national emergency.
Well, that's nice at least.
He says, quote, "A lot of that comes from the time I spent with my mom. Teaching special education was her passion. She'd been with me to Belize and has pushed me on doing some of the things we do here, making sure we are focused on it. She is going to hold us accountable for creating a quality atmosphere for our employees here." I love that.
That's cool.
And that was taken from the North Carolina State University News by Tim Peeler.
Okay.
2 years ago, on the 40th anniversary of Jonathan's traumatic experience, him and his father, Tom, appeared with Jim Rice on the New England Sports Network Red Sox pregame show. That's a lot of words.
That is
New England Sports Network Red Sox pregame show.
NESN, yeah.
It was a brief conversation, but Jim said that the annual media reminders of his actions that day are just as important to him as his career accomplishments.
I'm sure he basically saved a boy's life.
That is the story of the crazy meeting of baseball player Jim Rice and the young Red Sox fan Jonathan Keene.
Is Jim Rice still alive as of today, as far as you know
Yes.
it? Okay. Because you said his career ended in 89.
Yes.
Being a young child and huge fan of baseball, I don't remember him at all, but that doesn't take away from what he did. Trust me, I don't remember a lot of things from the 80s. It was a wild time. No, not really. But, I mean, I was only 10 by the time his career ended. So, but some of the other, like, Move on. I knew him and Nomar Garciaparra and a couple others you mentioned. I know of those. I remember those names, but maybe it's just because they're a little more memorable names, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't remember him at all. But I also wasn't a Red Sox fan in the 80s. I'm still not. Like I said, I cheer for them for my friends, but that's about it. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine getting hit in the head by a foul ball. And that's why they expanded. They always had the net behind the home plate to a certain point. but now it all goes all the way down to like past third base.
Yeah.
Which is totally understandable after your story there, because.
Well, I think there was another 4-year-old that got hit within the last decade.
Probably.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of the? I don't remember what game it's at. It's at a baseball game, but a guy is holding his baby, holding a beer, and a foul ball comes to him. He drops the baby, catches the ball, and then catches the baby. Doesn't spill his beer.
What?
I'll have to try and find that and show it to you. It's fucking amazing.
I feel like his priorities are a little different than some.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it could have hit somebody. So, maybe he saved somebody by doing it too, but he also got a foul ball, but didn't drop his baby.
He didn't drop his baby or his beer.
It was epic.
But see, I would hold the baby, drop the beer, and hold, grab the ball.
Come on, Kate.
Who am I kidding? I don't have a baby. Okay.
Just so you know, beers don't bounce.
How do you know babies do?
Experience?
I was going to say Xavier?
Nope. I never dropped my child. Never. I've seen Vesper bounce off the ground, though, because she'd fell and like, whoop, I'm okay. All right, Vesper. But anyways, I'll find that video and show it to you afterwards. So
did you like that?
I did, yeah. It's kind of cool. We did a baseball one. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
No, I didn't know anything about him, so that's pretty awesome. And the fact that he basically saved a kid's life is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
By quick acting and just like, let's get him into the dugout and to the clubhouse.
Yeah. Closest physician is down here.
Well, I mean, they always have one on staff for every team. So, I mean, that's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Really quick thinking, because clearly no one else did it. So he did.
I mean, the guy who was up for bat next, he called the trainer, which probably could do something, but
I'm sure he would have helped immensely, obviously, but not as much as what Rice did to bring him into the clubhouse to see the actual physician, and then the physician got him onto the ambulance to get to the hospital. That probably saved that kid's life.
Yep, it was quick.
Because you wait too long on a head injury like that, you are fucked. Mm-hmm. So, especially when they said the most blood I've ever seen at
Fenway.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So,
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was quite interesting. So, thank you for that one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
All right, well.
I suppose. All right, buffoons, that's it for today's episode.
Buckle up, because we've got another historical adventure waiting for you next time. Feeling hungry for more buffoonery? Or maybe you have a burning question or a wild historical theory for us to explore.
Hit us up on social media. We're History Buffoons Podcast on Reddit, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at historybuffoonspodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and turn those notifications on to stay in the loop.
Until next time, stay curious and don't forget to rate and review us.
Remember, the buffoonery never stops.